I'm Nick. Welcome to Get Out and Wrench. Hit that like, share, subscribe button, comment below. Today, we're working on my mom's 70 Mustang. They were driving it and heard a clunking noise when turning. So I went over there to check out what it was and found that the bracket for the power steering piston actually broke off the frame, and I towed it back to my house so I can actually fix it in the garage. We'll get it set up on jack stands, and then I'll be back with you to show you all the damage. Well, damage, but like what's broken and whatnot. So hang tight. Okay, so I got this up on jack stands, and I took the one wheel off, and here's what I found. This frame is rotted through, and the bottom of this ripped out. I already tightened this bolt, but that's just pulling through the frame, and it's the wrong bolt, and they got some, like, I don't know if you can see it. They got some, like, I don't know, janky wire, right there. That long bolt with that big, with a bunch of washers on it. That's the wrong bolt. So, like, I don't know. This frame is going to need to be repaired. They do sell this whole piece. Goes all the way to the front of the car. But that's a very, very big job, and I do not have time for that right now. I will eventually do that, but just to make this thing drivable, what I'm going to do is I have an 1/8 inch steel plate. I'm going to build my own patch, basically. And you already know it's the wrong bolt because this is a metric wrench. This is a 13, and I have a 17 on the back side, so you already know that these are wrong. This is a classic American car from the 70s. My 91 Camaro has metric and standard stuff on it, but that's because they started integrating metric in like the mid-80s. So that makes more sense with that. This should not have any metric anything on it anywhere. Look at that. This is way the wrong bolt. Look at that. This is supposed to be bolted in here and here, and it's just, I don't even know. This is not anything. Like, I have the jack stand here, and I got one on the other side, and then I also have one up underneath the engine crossbar. So hopefully the car doesn't fall. So I'm thinking, take this piece of flat bar and I'll run it right here. So from here to about here. If I can get this bolt out, that would be really nice, because then I could bolt it in behind there and then weld it. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run it from here down, because I don't really want to mess with those right now. And then I'll drill the hole in this, and then I'll run another piece on the inside in the same spot, because this is just, like how much that's flexing. See that? That whole thing is flexing. and then I'll run this piece across the bottom. Basically, I'm gonna rebox it with this, and I'll cut this out up here. There. Okay, so I've got this piece of angle iron. I'm gonna cut that to 8 inches. I'm gonna cut this to 8. I'm gonna get 2 pieces at 8 inches out of this, and a piece 12 inches, and then I'll be left over with another 8-inch piece. And I'm gonna make my own frame repair patch out of this. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna cut this and we'll get it installed. Chop. Okay, so we got these cut. I got my 8, 12, 8, 8, and then I got this angle iron cut to 8, and I'm left over with this little piece. So I'm gonna go over to the car and start figuring out where exactly all this is gonna fit, and we'll just start making stuff happen. All right. So I scraped off as much of the undercoating as I thought necessary around here. I mean, I may scrape off a little bit more. But basically, I got this piece. It's gonna go here, and then one of these is gonna go here. I'm probably gonna have to trim this down a little more. And then I'm gonna have one go on the inside also. And then this is gonna go on the bottom. And it's gonna wrap around underneath and tie into the torque box here. That'll go there, like that. put on the inside, they'll line up better. And put it on the inside. Just like that. This needs to go on the inside. Alright, so I've come up with a plan. Basically, took these 3 bolts out to hold the steering box in place, and I moved that. I got this ground down. This plate is going to go in on the inside here. I'm going to drill holes through. I'm going to spot weld this in place, and then I'm going to run as much weld as I can along the bottom. Do the same thing on this side with my angle iron. So the angle iron is going to go on the inside like that. And then I'm going to drill in there. I'll spot weld, and I'll see what I can do with welding it in. Once I have those in place, I'm going to then take my 12-inch piece. That's going to go on the bottom. And I'm going to bend it here so it'll go flat and bend up and end up there, welded to the new pieces. And I'll drill my holes before I weld it in for my nut certs. So I'll drill 2 holes for these holes here, and then I'll weld nuts on the back, and then I'll be able to bolt that to this after it's welded in. So I'm going to time lapse all this because it's a lot to get on video, and I just need to get this done. Okay, so I did everything I said I was going to do, and came out okay, I think. Um, it's a couple days later. My battery died in the middle of a time lapse video. It was like 2:30 in the morning, so I just continued working, and I got done about 3 o'clock. I got done about 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I came back out here the next day. I went and I bought hardware. So I got grade 8 hardware to hold that steering box in place, and I painted everything and rubberized undercoated it. So it's really not that noticeable that it's in there, but eventually this is going to get a new frame rail here and probably on the other side. And inside it's going to need inner rocker panels. So someday this thing's going to get a full, basically a hole underneath. The top looks good, you know. You got nice paint, nice roof. The interior is in nice shape. You know, it's just basically everything underneath the car that needs to get replaced at this point. I did do just a little bit of light here. You can see in there. That's all undercoated. It's still drying. I painted that just recently. And then you can see where everything's welded together, kind of. How well you can see all this. But I needed to get it off the jacks because I needed my jack the next day. It's bolted in. The welds aren't that great in some spots, but it'll do. I did start it. I did start it up, and I checked the steering. It doesn't make any more noise. That stays in place. So, so I'm gonna drive it around and make sure that it's all good. But I think that this will get me able to drive it for a little while. Also, while I was in here, I replaced this fuel line right there, and the fuel line that went through the frame rail. You can see all the rust up there. It's pretty nasty, but it'll be all right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. This was a little bit more of an undertaking than I had anticipated. We'll revisit at least this frame rail to get the right thing in there in the future, and maybe we'll check out the other side. But I got a lot of other projects that I need to get to and get done, and this will at least get this car back on the road for now. I would like to do a full frame repair, frame restoration on this thing. So new frame rails, floor pans, inner rockers and whatnot, and do my best to save the paint because the paint is in pretty good shape. So the only thing left to do on this car right now is I got to change the oil, and that's really it. Maybe figure out, see if there's an exhaust leak. It might have an exhaust leak. I'm not sure. But in the meantime, I'm Nick. Get out and wrench.